God of War never feels unsure of itself, reveling in every moment of its overly brutal encounters and spectacular set pieces to the point of self-gratification, but it's deserving of nearly every one of its accolades. God of War is bold, expertly paced, and truly audacious. Released at the wrong time, this game might not have worked, but 2005 was the perfect time for this Spartan to exact his revenge.
The gods of Olympus have abandoned me. Now there is no hope.
Kratos' story is told primarily through flashbacks, with his past sins causing him nightmares and visions that force him to turn toward the gods of Olympus, who promise him amnesty as long as he serves their cause.
10 years, Athena! I have faithfully served the gods for 10 years. When will you relieve me of these nightmares?
After many years, Kratos' final task involves eliminating his former mentor, Ares, the god of war, who has attacked Athens out of hatred for his sister Athena. With Zeus refusing to let the gods interfere, Kratos is tasked with destroying Ares and restoring balance. Kratos' story is well told, taking him from the Aegean Sea to the Desert of Lost Souls. Its narrative pacing is spot on, giving you insight into Kratos' past throughout the experience, showing you what those events did to him emotionally, and how broken his character has become as a result.
By the gods, what have I become?
While later sequels bring more of these aspects to the forefront, what's here works, because at the heart of Kratos' character is an unforgiving anti-hero, one that's hard to sympathize with, but relatively easy to root for in the end. God of War's emphasis on brutality is hard to ignore, with Kratos' signature Blades of Chaos serving as his primary means of dismemberment. A reminder of his oath to serve his original mentor, Ares, the Blades of Chaos are bound to Kratos by chains that allow you to attack most enemies from a relatively safe distance at first. As enemies grow more numerous and more powerful, they'll be able to close gaps much more quickly, forcing you to make use of evasive rolls, which are mapped to the right analog stick. And while combat remains engaging throughout, there are definitely moments where the game just doesn't know when to quit throwing enemies your way. It can certainly be frustrating to take down a group of monsters only to have 3 more arise from the ground shortly thereafter, preventing you from progressing forward through an area. Nevertheless, the combat system in God of War feels very precise, allowing you to pull off combos without too much effort. Larger enemies can be taken down indefinitely using the circle button, forcing the game into a quick-time event that features a flashy killing animation if completed correctly. Though doing so often does make you a bit complacent to the whole process, as you see the same animation routines over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Okay, I get it! Good job! It's the same kill. You're just doing it like the same way. The camera's even the same! At times, a few heavy doors will make use of the same mechanic, though mashing R2 on the controller is incredibly awkward. This is definitely one area where the HD remaster, which is what you're seeing here, should have made some changes. God of War keeps its combat fresh by supplying you with new weapons and abilities that can all be upgraded, giving you new combos to work with and making you feel like you're legitimately growing stronger. It's all punctuated with story elements and a few light puzzles, which lend a nice bit of variation to the action. God of War does a great job with making each brain teaser fit into its grand scheme, with some even affecting the layout of a particular area, highlighting some great level designs that loop back on themselves in often clever ways. By 2005, the PlayStation 2's limits were becoming more clearly defined. Back then, God of War looked pretty stellar, especially considering the number of events that could be going on in the background at any given time. By today's standards, even with an HD remaster on the PlayStation 3, it doesn't look all that great, save for the pre-rendered cutscenes. More disappointing is the fact that it seems as if the developers weren't able to clear up any of the in-game cutscenes, which don't look or sound all that great. The steadier frame rate is definitely more noticeable, and although you have no camera control, the game does a pretty decent job of highlighting the action, though there were numerous areas where I wished I was given a better view of my surroundings. If it's your first foray into the franchise, the visuals really won't hamper the overall experience, nor should they deter you from playing a game that has aged remarkably well otherwise. It's difficult to review a game with sequels that built upon the foundation of the original so well. Faster movement when climbing, tighter camera angles, and more variety in enemy encounters, they're all incremental improvements that God of War 2 and 3 made over Kratos' first outing, making these features feel like missed opportunities here when they really aren't. Though, unlike some franchises whose sequels make their previous outings nearly unplayable as a result of these enhancements, the original God of War still packs quite a punch. It's an epic, well-paced adventure that brings you to a lot of unforgettable places, and if you're new to the series, you're in for quite a ride.